2024, the reactions that are there as Mio, of course, are threatening to stage demonstrations against the same, even as it calls upon, of course, its members to vote or to shoot down the Finance Bill 2024. That is for our SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of your screens, and as well on our Facebook and X pages. That is our social media pages at K24 TV at Joel Chacha. Just to see some of the feedback, to sample some of the feedback, we have Naibe saying, Azimio people, you're wasting your time. Finance Bill 2024 lazima ipite mpende msipende. KK has the numbers. Boaz, problem is Azimio legislators always walk out when voting for some bills like last year's finance bill. How can we tell they were paid not to vote? Vote no to Juange numbers were against you. We also have Andrew saying, don't waste our time calling for demos. That is the only way, actually the only parliament remaining. The current parliament is just a joke. Wonder if the current people in Kenya were around in the 1950s, we would still be under colonial rule as we are accustomed now. And John saying, not Azimio to oppose, but every MP of decent and independent reasoning. We don't need Kenyans to be taxed more, but to minimize on extravagance and tame corruption. Some current and previous elected leaders should be behind bars. President William Ruto means what he's saying. I think that's on pushing the rates to 22%. Oko, opposition should stop yapping. You are a big beneficiary of misuse of tax money. At national and county levels, first call for protest on misuse of taxes. Even as Martin, finally, this time round, demonstrations will start from every corner of the country, and Zakayo will only have the U.S. Embassy as a hiding place. From the mountains, valleys, plains, we shall march to State House and evict the criminals.
I want to first of all say, Chacha, I'm very impressed at how Kenyans are viewing our country now. That's why I still believe that having a conversation is the right thing to do. Going into violent demonstrations sometimes is counterproductive, and I would encourage all Kenyans that we desist onto it. But let's speak. Let's raise our voices. The same conversation that we're having today. You've brought in some other discussions here that I think are very critical. It will also capture our attention even as we go to Parliament to discuss and canvass. It is true, and I want to agree with those 2 or 3 who have said that the Azimio don't need to go to hotels. They shout in the hotels, but when it comes to the time that we are voting in Parliament, they are not there. They just walk away. It's sometimes bold enough to stand to the very end so that people can know that you have a firm position that you're taking every time it comes, where then you are saying you're defending the people who voted you in. But overly, I would still say that let's have a conversation.
Honorable Ikana, from what Kenyans are saying.
Thank you. I want to really associate with a lot of what they have said, apart from a few who, in one way or another, think they can overturn the democratic will of the people who went to the polls on the 9th of August 2022 and elected His Excellency the President. Having said that, in as much as I respect the role of opposition in our country, and especially in our current political dispensation, I want to give them a challenge. As we said, these are mere proposals on how to plug in and fund our budget. I will respect them even more if they gave us an alternative, assuming they were the ones running the government. What would they have done to fund our current budgetary requirements? So I expect Azimio people and my friends in Azimio to come up with, number 1, their shadow budget, and number 2, their shadow finance proposals on how to fund such a budget. Then we look at it and see what are we able to borrow, because they are Kenyans and they have their democratic right. What are we able to do differently from what we are currently proposing? Well, that is the only way that we are going to build a one cohesive country instead of shenanigans of throwing tantrums and threatening to run to the streets.
Well, even as the finance bill APRO is still, of course, the conversation or the finance bill is still the conversation in the country. Debate is still, actually, is also gaining momentum. There is a debate over the 1 man, 1 shilling revenue allocation formula after Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua earlier this week made a U-turn in support of governors drawn from central Kenya who called for more allocation of resources to the region under the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling policy. But as Michelle Ngele Odhiambo now reports, a section of leaders have criticized the DP's remarks while others called for caution, warning that the debate will plant a seed of discord in the country.
Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is a believer and a proponent of 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's remarks over the 1 man, 1 shilling revenue allocation formula have elicited support and criticism in equal measure. Senator Danson Mungatana has questioned Gachagua's motive, insisting that his sentiments did not reflect the position of the Kenya Kwanza government.
His statement is a very unfortunate statement. It is not acceptable in this country today that we will choose deliberately by government policy to try and ignore some of us who are coming from arid and semi-arid areas. It is not correct. It is not correct, and we will not accept it. And we are not in this country by mistake. We are here and we are not going anywhere.
The debate is premised on the push by the Mount Kenya region to have allocations of government resources based on population rather than any other consideration. Under the current revenue sharing formula, population covers 45%. Basic equal share covers 25%, poverty takes 20%, land area covers 8%, and fiscal responsibility covers 2%. This, Mount Kenya politicians say, leaves the more populous counties with little money for development.
I do not understand the import of his statement. You know, at times you go to look at the import of his statements and look at the constituency upon which that message was designed to reach, but I do not support the 1 shilling, 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. I don't support. And when a road is built in a particular area, or a hospital, or a school, or a university, that infrastructure is for Kenyans. I have never seen a situation where you say that this hospital is in our area, and because we pay so much taxes than the other counties, therefore it's a reserve of people from our particular area only. So national hospitals, national roads, national schools are made available to assist all Kenyans, regardless of where they come from and the amount of taxes they pay.
Michelle Ngele Odhiambo, K24.
Even as we collect taxes, another debate emerges of how do we share these particular revenues. The DP clearly stating that, look, my region is populous, therefore give me more resources. We're in on that.
I think on this particular one, I think the DP is the Deputy President of Kenya. And I think this statement, as it were to me, the initial formula that was being used was a formula that was brought about after research by professionals who came up with that particular formula. This other one is a political, these are political statements that are stage managed to maybe fit a particular, constituent who will like that, and sometimes it is used to drive, popularity in a particular region. I want to say this is a very divisive statement. To me, personally, I may not agree on that particular, and we are still yet to hear what the general, this is a discussion that has just come up, Chacha. To me, I still think that when an as time will come, let's have the experts in that particular region to still do their independent study. These political statements sometimes is not good for a country that is united as us is now, probably even as we go ahead. This is an extremely divisive statement.
Honorable Ikana, 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, the Mount Kenya region now to get perhaps more resources compared to other regions.
Thank you so much, Chacha, on that question. I respect the opinion and the views of His Excellency the Deputy President. If we were to adopt the 1 shilling, 1 vote, I think I also come from a region that is highly populous, Kakamega County, which is likely to benefit. But then nationally thinking as a leader, I would step back and ask myself, why would I want to benefit more at the expense of a child who would starve in another region of the country? Because for me to get more, it means somebody somewhere has to lose. As leaders, we need to change our mind and shift it to a place where we are concentrating on conversations that will enable us spur economic growth and increase revenues for the country as a whole. Let us not fight over a small cake. Let us have conversations that will enable us expand and bake a bigger cake so that each and everyone has got enough for their people, for their region. It is without necessarily engaging in divisive politics or whipping ethnic and regional emotions towards achieving a certain goal. So on this one, I don't agree. Let us converse on how to bake a bigger cake so that each and everyone feels and is comfortable being called Kenyan.
Totally agreed. As I said before, this is a country that we keep talking, all right? We keep our conversation alive for us to drive our country forward. But when you bring in such an issue like that, on issue of revenue, distribution, it may also begin, a Pandora box of things, Chacha, because there are regions in this country who unfortunately have also benefited greatly in the previous governments in terms of development, and some other regions also have not. So the only way they've been surviving is when they are able to get some of this distribution of resources on the basis in the formula that has been used. So for me, again, I join my friend and say, yes, this is a conversation that is there, but let us be extremely careful. We've brought in our country very well. Let's still drive it that way, but let's remove the issue of selfishness or political aggrandizement, because you really want to pull a particular segment of a country just for the purpose of selfish gains.
Yes.
Already with the remarks from the Deputy President, what happens when he visits a region, let's say like Mungatana's Tana River, and is set to address them still on resources? Will it augur well with such people? Because already it's UDMPs actually who you are calling him out this morning. Honorable Ikana, does it now reduce Gachagua to more of a Mount Kenya leader rather than Kenya's deputy president? I
don't want to say so, and please don't push me to a corner. As I said, the deputy president has got every right. He is a leader to share his opinions or his views on what he thinks is right, and that is his democratic right. So I have not in any way insinuated that he's a leader of a particular region, unless that's how you want us to look at it.
Yeah, I began by saying he's the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and he has also a right to make statements, when it comes to our region, he also addresses us on the issues that are affecting us. So, but that will be subject to national conversations and the debates on that space. So I would not also enjoin myself in saying those are just personal opinions, and sometimes as a leader you make.
So tomorrow there will be a conference, Limuru 3, that seeks to chart the way forward for the Mount Kenya region, socio-economic and even politically. Could this be a counterattack or more of a populist remarks, perhaps to counter these, despite even the region having several CSS, PSS in government? The Limuru 3, let's begin with the Honorable Ikana. What's your opinion? Because, of course, for the Luya, you talk about the Luya unity.
Yeah.
Is it proper for them also to just come together? And
that is a conversation for the Mount Kenya leaders. And, of course, living in a very, very well-enabled democratic space, it is within their rights to congregate, share ideas and opinions on how to spur growth in their regions. So I don't see anything wrong with the Limuru 3, or whether it is Limuru 3, 4, or 5, whatever they want to call it. Let them meet, let them share alternative voice, let them give us ideas on how best to grow this country. And of course, all other regions in this country are free to meet. It's enshrined as a right in our constitution. But at the end of the day, all I want to urge Kenyans is let us not be victims of divisive politics. Let us not be victims of ethnicized kind of politics where we are thinking about ourselves as a particular tribe or ethnic community. Let us shift from that and start looking at ourselves as Kenyans and how best to grow this country.
Scatter the conference that is set to be held tomorrow.
I think it's not right to deny anybody a right to meet and have a conversation.
To me, I think we've had an advanced,
on the Limuru 3.
Yeah, I think we've had an advanced, freedom of speech in our country, freedom of association, and I think even the coming in of Kenya Kwanza government has expanded that space incredibly. And therefore, people have a choice to always meet, congregate, have discussions, speak out, and that should be actually a freedom that must be respected.
Could it be a political threat, perhaps, to the second in command, factoring in today, let's say for the Kalenjin nation, will they meet without, let's say, the president being part of the meeting, or even being aware, or even being the convener?
Yeah, allow me to finish what I'm just trying to prosecute, Chacha. The thing is, the Mount Kenya vote is a very strategic vote in our country. And I want to tell you that the way Mount Kenya voted in the last election tells you they're very independent, brilliant persons, a block of vote, and they know what they want. Therefore, if people feel that we want to have a conversation, let them, everybody, it's politics. You are trying to always gain people here and there, but I can tell you, on the bottom line, we should not first of all divide our country. The way we've come, I think we need to unify our country as we go forward. The people who are proposing this Limuru 3, you can see all of them are people who they are not even in Azimio, they are somewhere, they are hanging. So they are trying to get a place.
Kuria will join the meeting tomorrow.
Well, this is right as well to join those. But I can tell you, bottom line, the Kikuyu, the Mount Kenya vote are brilliant people. We are all watching, and I can tell you, they will make the right decisions at the right time. Me, I'm not even worried about anything. What will be of interest to Mount Kenya is what they will be able to drive that agenda going forward.
As we wind up, that's 30 seconds for the state of the nation. Okay.
It's also good I mention that...
as you give now your final remarks as well.
As people from Western region, we shall also soon be having our Bukhungu 3. And our Bukhungu 3 will be geared towards how best to support His Excellency the President deliver his objective and agenda to the people of this country.
Now that you've brought the conversation about the Bukhungu 3, who is the region's kingpin?
We have leaders, and the people of Western are firmly behind our senior most sons. That's His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Mudavadi, and the Right Honorable Speaker Wetangula,
George Natembea,
who are fully behind
the region.
That is according to you. The two leaders of Mulembe Nation have said is His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary Mr. Mudavadi, Right Honorable Speaker Moses Wetangula, who are firmly behind His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
Well, your final remarks on the state of the nation.
Hiyo ni porojo ya vijiji.
Your final remarks as we wind up. 30 seconds, Ken.
Thank you for the opportunity to give my final remarks. I want to really appreciate the various conversations that we are engaged in trying to ensure that we put our nation on a growth and economic development trajectory. This is a time that is very sensitive to both leaders and the nation at large, because we have just entered the budget making phase. Let us be objective in whatever proposals and decisions that we make towards helping Kenyans.
Thank you. Honorable Kitur.
Thank you very much, Chacha. For us, we'll still engage on discussions that are of national discourse, political discourse. We don't have the regional discussions, but ours is national discourse. On the bottom line is that to Kenyans who are watching us today, we are very keen to drive our country on the right economic trajectory. I think we've done so well so far. I think the aspect of the finance bill that is coming. Let us all participate into it in ourselves. We'll give also our independent mind as your respected elected leaders, and we'll also want to hear your views. Every time we are on ground, we want to listen from you, and we will be able to have a very balanced budget to make our country go forward.
Thank you.
Let's continue to pray our country and keep it safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. That's Honorable Bernard Kitur. He is the Nandi Hills Member of Parliament who has just joined us, and as well Honorable Frederick Kikana, Shinyali Member of Parliament. Honorable Amos Mwago, Saturday Member of Parliament, has sent his apologies. He got an emergency and he could not be able to make it. But it has been a conversation on the state of the nation. My name is Joel Chacha. Thank you so much for watching. Do enjoy the rest of the viewing.
When it comes to playing music, we've got you covered. Mixed down by the legendary DJ Blackie. From Caribbean rhythms,
We don't fight with nobody, but we respect everybody. And we fight that everybody.
our popular Kenyan jams,
My hands, your waist, my heart, away from
Afrobeat,